You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
This is Melanie, and in the future, sensors will be woven into all of our clothing, so we can be monitored by our doctors and whatnot. Then at the end of the day, if you've been really sad, your therapist can call you and say, Melanie, were you watching Jurassic Park again?
This is Jesse. In the future, the ghost in the machine will not need a firewall. Instead, they will be required to watch Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore's movie Ghost for, safety.
This is Randy. In the future, the Grawlix podcast will not forget its own anniversaries. Welcome to the Grawlix podcast, episode number 41.
Woo!
Pointed at Melanie all 41.
So do we have 10 episodes a year then?
No. Well, no. Wait. Yeah. Well,
now we'll have 24, right?
Oh, wait.
We will have 20. We average 12 when we're monthly. So for 3 years, we did 12 in a year. I want to say 1 year there was like an extra Grawlix Prime back before we started Nights and Bites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Ozfest one was special or something.
Yeah, episode 7 was like an extra one.
Okay.
So yeah, 12 a year, but now it'll go up to 24 a year.
Okay. I was just saying 40, 41, those don't jive.
No, given that we've been doing it for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Maybe it's only 3 years.
Oh, yeah, but it's only 3 years. This will be our 4th year. So is this our 3rd anniversary?
3rd anniversary, yeah.
It feels like our 3rd anniversary.
Baby, I thought we had been together for a year longer than we had been. You can't ask me these things,
That's
okay?
true. Your sense of time is all off. Hi.
Oh, welcome to the show. Whatever year it is.
Yeah, no doubt. Listen, the listener doesn't care.
No.
The listener doesn't take care when this is recorded.
No, because we're going to party like it's 1996 anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a t-shirt from 1996.
I had a graduation from 1996.
Oh, I did. I had a junior high graduation in 1986, and that's where I got the t-shirt. And it said, "Come as you are."
Oh
Nice.
Man, right.
Yeah.
1996, true fact, for me, was the first year in which the year sounded futuristic.
Really?
1996 hit, and I remember telling people, be like, 1996 sounds like the future. It doesn't sound right.
That didn't sound like the future to me. It wasn't until like 2000 something.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh my God, we're in the future.
It's just gotten more insane since 1996 to me, but it's 2017.
But you know what? When I was like, oh my God, we're in the future, my moment was, it wasn't 96, it was like 98, maybe? But whatever. They said we knew how to clone, and they had cloned a sheep. And I was like, holy crap, we are in the future. And isn't everybody amazed? And they all just looked at me like I was dumb. And that's when it started.
You know what, though?
How come we haven't cloned cool things like Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why haven't we done that?
The whole Lee family. Really?
Yeah. Bring him back. Then we won't have to like CGI like people into movies anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, though, on the cloning thing. People did not seem excited as they should have been.
No.
Yeah. They were all mad about it. They were like, we can't play God. Like, we're not playing God. We're getting Bruce Lee back. We're putting the band back together. That's all we're doing.
Holy crap. You know what, though? I think it's just because nobody brought that argument to the table.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Done. We'd have
like, hey,
all of it.
Do you? So you're the one that's going to stand in the way of Jimi Hendrix joining whatever band ever?
Yeah.
Every band ever.
Yeah, all of the bands.
Every band should be able to make their own Jimi Hendrix to join.
You could have Biggie and Jimi Hendrix, the Notorious B.I.G. and the Wind Cries Mary. Do it. What's wrong with you?
Now I feel like we've celebrated our anniversary.
Right.
In fact, that was great. Show over.
Yeah. We're done. Like totally, we're retiring the show.
We've hit our peak.
Bye, guys. Don't quit crying.
Can I discuss something that has nothing to do with anything? Real quick?
Sure.
Okay, you've heard the name Nevaeh. Maybe it's heaven spelled backwards. That's its thing. That's why it's even a name, Nevea, because it's heaven spelled backwards. But now people are having the name Nevea not spelled that way. So I'm like, well, you can't have the name Nevea and it's not spelled heaven backwards because that defeats the purpose of the name being a name.
So what would it be like? Haven backwards then?
No, it'd be like Hey Yavena or something. I don't know.
Whoa.
Like it doesn't make any sense the way that it's spelled. And I'm like, no, because the only reason that Nevea worked as a name in the first place is because you said, but it's heaven spelled backwards. So if you can't say that, then you're just using up some made up name for no reason.
I think it's cooler without the direct spelling comparison.
Really?
Yeah, because when you're like, oh, I named my kid Heaven backwards, like, oh,
so
cute.
Your child is Hellspawn?
Aren't you?
That's
cute?
what I always say.
But if you're just like Nevea, what's it mean? Doesn't it sound cool? Don't question what it means. It
is it? So it's not like what would that be? It's not a palindrome. It's like a not palindrome.
It's a
backindrome. We just spelled it wrong. We just spelled it backwards.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
we're like Ozzy Osbourne. We're playing the record backwards, summoning Satan with his Cthulhu vodka.
I wonder if anybody thinks that when they're like, it's heaven spelled backwards. They're like, are you summoning Satan with your child or something?
Yeah.
Why would you need to say it backwards?
I'm sure somebody is.
Like Mr. Mixelplick.
That's why we don't have Bruce Lee, guys.
It is. Those Neveas ruining the future.
People don't like Nevea, and they don't like clones of awesome people. If they would just get on board, get on the crazy train, and then we could have, oh man, you could have multiple Ozzy Osbournes. You could have the Osbournes.
I think you've
you've
sold me out of.
I probably ruined this idea just now.
You just set cloning back like 20 years.
Sharon!
You're making it worse. Oh man. So guys, what are we talking about this episode? Have we already done this? I don't think we have.
We're talking about Ghost.
No, we haven't. We didn't get that far.
Yes, we're going to talk about Ghost in the Shell, which is coming to theaters near you in a week.
Oh, what?
I feel like
is this like the third Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movie?
Ghost on the half shell.
Ghost in the half shell. Shell shocked.
I don't see how they managed in Ghost in the Shell. I don't see how they managed to get people to be okay with this when they straight out call it your ghost, which implies you're dead. You are dead.
You're dead.
And they took a little piece of your consciousness and stuck it in a machine.
Yeah, but you're a robot now.
But you're dead. I mean, okay.
Or we could just get on board with cloning. God!
I think it's interesting that they breached that whole, they dealt with that issue. Mm-hmm. But AI, whoa. Yeah. Watch out.
Yeah. Which basically it is AI.
Yeah.
Well, once you're dead and all that's left of you is a program. That's artificial intelligence.
Say Patrick Swayze. Yeah. When you're dead and all that's left of you is Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
You're just a dirty dancing shell of your former self.
So we're going to be talking about, we're not talking about the live action movie coming out here in a week because it's not out yet.
And we haven't seen it.
And
it may be okay, but it might be ruined.
It might be terrible.
Scarlett Johansson is okay though, in some things.
Really? I thought you didn't like her.
I don't, but she's okay in some
she has
things.
like an alien face or alien head or something.
She does.
I like Scarlett. I like ScarJo.
Men usually do.
I've liked ScarJo for a while.
Yeah.
She's been in lots of things.
I know, you like her in Lost in Translation.
Yes. That was before I even was that familiar with ScarJo.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about the 1996 animated film.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and get into it, right? I have facts. I have facts.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah, I know. Somebody was on Wikipedia again.
Oh man, what? Who did it?
Oh, Wikipedia.
Who wrote this? Who wrote this one? I'm gonna change the facts right now.
So, a little bit about the manga that Ghost in the Shell is based on, because of course it's based on a manga.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost in the Shell, known in Japan as Mobile Armored Riot Police.
That's a much better name. I would love that.
Really? I think that's a
Mobile Armored Riot Police. That makes me want to break stuff. It's great.
That's a way worse name. Ghost in the Shell is an amazing title.
Hmm.
If I was like, hey, Melanie, do you want to watch Mobile Armored Riot Police anime? What would you say?
Yeah.
Do you want to watch Tokyo Gore Police later?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's an actual thing. We might watch it.
Okay.
Actually, I think I've seen it. It might be terrible, but
She was an easy sell on this.
I think I've watched it once. It's a thing. It's something. Anyway, it's a manga series written and illustrated by, here we go with names.
Oh boy.
Let me look.
You look at it.
Masamune Shiro.
Oh, yeah. It was first serialized in 1989 under the subtitle of The Ghost in the Shell, and later published as its own tankobin.
As their Taco Bin.
No, okay. Rolling it back.
Taco Bin.
It was later collected, and anyway, it tells the story of a fictional counter cyber terror. Holy crap! Counter cyber terrorist organization, Public Sector Section 9, led by the protagonist Major Motoko. Here, Melanie.
Are you hungry?
Motoko Kusanagi.
In the mid-21st century of Japan. Ghost in the Shell 2 Man-Machine Interface was the sequel, which follows this is still the manga, which follows the story of Motoko after merging with the Puppet Master.
The puppeteer.
The last volume, Ghost in the Shell 1.5, Human Error Processor, contains 4 separate cases. Okay, moving on. The 1995 animated film, which will be the subject. Also, it's listed as 95 here. So, my bad. I don't know.
Maybe it didn't come to us till 96.
It could be. I might have typed that wrong too. The film's plot, my facts are a little shaky. The film's plot follows the hunt by the public security agency Sector 9 for a mysterious hacker known as the Puppet Master. With the assistance of her team, Motoko tracks and finds their subject, only to be drawn into a complex sequence of political intrigue and a cover-up as to the identity and goals of the Puppet Master. To be honest, watching it today, it kind of feels like most of that doesn't really reveal itself till the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
This is just bonus facts. In 2008, they released an updated version of the original film. I'm curious as to which one Jesse watched, because you had mentioned something about bad CGI. Ghost in the Shell 2.0 features new audio and updated 3D animation. Otherwise, it's the same movie. Apparently they did remove some brief scenes. I don't know what those scenes are and why they would remove them, but it did.
I think I watched the video, the original, because I was watching really old school special features, and they showed that same CGI. So
okay,
I think it was just bleeding edge, brand new in '96, which means it's going to look a little old now.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this question. We've all seen this before, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I've seen this. I think this is my 3rd time watching it. I actually didn't watch it. I don't know if I've ever seen it in the 90s. I think it was early 2000s by the time I finally saw this for the first time.
Me too.
I watched it in college, so it would have been late '90s or early 2000s, somewhere in there.
This is different. It's a movie. It's an anime. I'm not sure how to approach this. What do you guys think of this? Did you enjoy it?
It's all right, yeah.
Yeah. I liked it. I hadn't seen it for a long time, so I'd forgotten a lot of it. And I remembered it being, I liked it, but I couldn't really parse why. And I kind of still feel that way about it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like it for some reasons, and yet I don't know if it's something I would normally, ingest, or whatever the word is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my regular, but I like it anyways.
I love this movie. I think this is the 3rd time I've seen it. I think I like it a little bit more every time. I like the tone of it, which is part of what I don't like about just about everything else in the franchise that I've seen. But I like the tone. I like the themes. There are some very interesting themes about consciousness and
what makes you alive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's interesting. And the movie brings a lot of that stuff up without really diving. It sets it up without bogging itself down in those. It's just here's the world they live in that deals with this. And it leaves it to you to really, just kind of gets those ideas kicking in your head.
It makes me angry.
Yeah.
But that's part of the reasons I like it, maybe. Because it does, yeah. I've said I don't like the, we're gonna kill you, basically.
Mm.
And then your ghost can live in this machine. But besides that, also the parts where people's brains get hacked and they like have memories that never actually happened, and
that's super bothersome to me.
Yeah, I know it does.
That ties into the whole thing I've been saying for a long time when people are like, oh, it would be cool when we could just jack into your brain. I'm like, think about a computer virus and think about what that would do to your head, like to your brain. That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I like about, and even like the series and stuff later plays on that too. That's an aspect I like. I mean, I don't, it's horrifying, but
it's good that they bring it up.
Yeah. I like the way like this movie lingers on stuff. Like I can't remember how long it is, but I want to say it's like 3, almost 4 minutes of just like, there's a sequence that's just city shots and backgrounds and street stuff.
Oh yeah. That's one of the things that I'm just like, I'm just super impressed with. I mean, that totally holds up.
Mm-hmm.
All of the work that they put into this, from the 90s. I mean, like, I don't know. They just did it so well. It didn't feel gimmicky at all.
Yeah. It's stuff like that. It adds to the tone of it and it gives it room to breathe. It's not just a well put together and produced anime. Like, it's a well put together movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The action sequences, and it's kind of front loaded. There's not a lot. There's a few. It's mostly some gunfights and some foot chases and stuff like that. But especially the 1 foot chase, and it goes on for a while, and I'm sure we'll see a version of that in the new movie where they're chasing the guy that's got the cloak and she ends up fighting him in the water. That whole sequence is awesome because it's real quiet, punctuated by the occasional like gunfight stuff where it's loud gunshots, and then it's just like low key music and
people running and breathing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a lot of this movie is very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because you wouldn't, I don't know, a movie like this, especially from this time period, I would assume is like, I think it sticks in people's minds as like a crazy sci-fi action-y thing, but it's actually like kind of a slow paced, as we discussed a little bit off mic, slow paced and deliberate, and it takes time to breathe. And even the action sequences echo that.
Mm.
Melanie fell asleep during it today.
Shut up.
Well, Melanie might be sick, but
I fell asleep during it when I watched it in the 90s. So, I mean, it's just got a pacing thing, but it's a great movie. Like, you just have to be ready for it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a Sunday afternoon movie, as odd as that is to say, like in the way it's put together. Mm-hmm. It feels like it's put together like a 70s movie, but it's got a very strong 90s anime feel, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You look confused by that, Melanie.
I'm just trying to think of 70s movies.
Not in theme, but I mean,
I know, but I'm saying pacing. I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of some, but I don't know. Some of the things I think are 70s movies really aren't, so it doesn't count.
It's kind of like Star Wars, though. I mean, like, Star Wars has, for all the things that people remember, it's got a lot of slow beats.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they spend an awful lot of time with Luke just trying to find Obi-Wan and running around the desert, and and then later on the action kicks in.
So I was going to watch the sequel, the Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence, or Ghost in the Shell Innocence. Also, I don't know, just because I've been meaning to rewatch it and I didn't get a chance to, but from what I remember of that, it's like more so, it's much more of a slow character piece and you're following the guy with the eyes. You know what I mean? It's her partner with the eyes. I think Mullet Man might be in there a little bit.
Mullet Man.
But if I remember right, I've only seen that one once. It's even slower. It's more of a slow character piece.
Mm-hmm.
But Melanie and I watched a scene from it on YouTube the other day and talk about CG. And that was made in the late aughts. So like they have pretty advanced CG, but it almost doesn't work there because it seemed too detailed. And then when you've got the traditional 2D flat layers, it was too much of a clash.
Mm-hmm. And well, partially it might be the scene that we watched too, which is very detailed.
It's a spectacle scene. It's the parade scene from Ghost in the Shell Innocence. But I don't know why I brought that up.
Contrast to compare.
Mm-hmm.
The original is the best. Yeah.
Well, and speaking of the original, like they decided that the character was going to be way more mature than in the original manga. Like in the manga, it's a younger gal or whatever.
Oh,
And
okay.
so in the movie, it's, and I think that's interesting, and that plays forward to what we're going to see in this live action movie. In that, it's Scarlett Johansson. So
Yeah, that's interesting. I know that the original stories were published in a magazine that was geared towards
Pedophiles?
no, younger boys.
Just the ones that drive around in bear suits in a van.
But I think it was directed at a younger audience.
Oh, okay. Or people that like a younger audience.
Well, I guess there's that.
There seems to be a lot of it going around in certain cultures.
Whoa. Listen, I don't have a whole lot of stats for that part of the world, but let's not alienate all of them.
Oh, I'm not.
Just the pedophiles.
Just the pedophiles. I can alienate the pedophiles all I want. Nobody can give me crap for it.
I feel like alienating pedophiles is now the title of this episode.
Well,
maybe not.
Alienating pedophiles.
Maybe so. That's episode 41. Happy anniversary.
Oh,
Happy anniversary, pedophiles.
no.
Ooh.
There's the line.
No.
Huh?
No, don't.
Don't greet them. Okay, sorry.
No.
Well, we can get some type of traffic hit if we put pedophile in the title. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not that person, Randy. We're not whores to the tits.
We're not pedophile whores.
Nope.
No, yeah, clickbait.
We're not clickbait.
Clickbait whores. I'm wondering how much of this conversation will end up in the final episode.
Yep.
Depends how I feel while I'm editing it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What
Meh.
But yeah.
I feel like we're missing part of the plot. Like what?
Oh, we're missing a big part.
What else? Well, yeah. Like
The part I fell
what
asleep
else
for?
is there to say? Like I don't know. I mean, like she starts. We were talking about the slow pace and stuff, and it's like there's a lot of her just like kind of checking out chewing on the scenery. Like
Floating in water.
yeah, and then like listening to her ghost or whatever, and that becomes like this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, because like they can communicate. I don't know if it's telepathically because they're robots, but like they can get into each other's heads via comm channels or whatever. And every once in a while, like they'll hear a voice and he'll be like, "Was that you?" And she won't know.
Yeah, that boat scene specifically is interesting because, yeah, it must be over like their local network or however it works because he hears it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's talking and then another voice that's got this effect on it says some things and he's like, "Was that you?" And she does not. She doesn't know.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing. And you'd imagine it'd have a different sound, but I don't know in your brain,
Yeah.
But it'd be weird not knowing if it was you thinking that or somebody else thinking that and you just heard it.
Melanie made it something that I don't know why had never occurred to me. But later in the movie, they talk about the whatever guy's translator. They talk about this guy, but the movie kind of opens with basically them assassinating this guy. Like she assassinates this guy,
Right.
but they're also kind of like, I mean, they're not cops, but they're kind of like cops. So
Mhm.
it does seem weird. I've never questioned it, but it does seem weird that they would just assassinate this guy, that was their mission.
Yeah, he had just claimed asylum, not asylum, what's it called? When you're a dignitary or something in another country,
Mhm.
you're immunity. He had just, declared immunity, and then she jumps down and shoots his face off.
Yeah. The summary that I read, it seems kind of off because there's no mention of this puppet master. Although, like, I mean, they're obviously on this case having to do with this guy because you've got the garbage man who has these implanted memories. But they never mention, like, the puppet master until, like, he's there. You know what I mean?
Well, they said something about him when they had that one chick, with the crazy orgasm.
That's what I'm talking about, though. That's, like, when it first really comes up.
Okay.
But they're, like, on the case before they get that.
Yeah.
But they never make mention of the puppet
Maybe
master.
they didn't have it didn't have a
name
connection
for it?
yet.
Oh, okay. The plot's a little weird because I don't know. It just kind of feels like stuff's happening. I mean, I guess that's a criticism. Like, I like the movie, I like the tone, but it almost feels like the and the story plot and the character plot or character arc is definitely entwined, but they feel separate, and it almost feels like the story plot is very secondary and unnecessary, because the thing, at least for me, that rides that carries the movie is the tone and like finding out what's the deal with this chick,
but it's that her experiences in the regular storyline that lead her to have these thoughts and feelings that lead her through to her ultimate decision in the end. So it has to be there or it won't happen. And I kind of dig that whole thing too, because I mean, yeah, AI is scary and it could kill us, but if we like make babies with it, that with our our dead people's spirits and AI, then we have at least halfway sort of human.
Well, that's completely the Elon Musk thing you mentioned earlier about merging with AI. Yeah. Maybe he just watches 90s anime and comes up with these ideas. He comes up with these ideas.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Him and the Wachowskis, they're just sitting around
inventing rockets that defy the laws of physics.
Yeah. I don't know if he I just base it because like if there was no Ghost in the Shell, I don't think there would be Matrix. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, probably not. And I think it's been noted that the Wachowskis they're heavily influenced by this work, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they'd have to be. I know they're hugely influenced by just various anime in general, and I know some of not all the ideas here are unique to Ghost in the Shell, but there's so many similarities, even down to the choice. And this has changed in the re-release 2.0 version, but down to the credits for Ghost in the Shell, where it's the green Matrix-like green letters that come down.
Oh yeah.
So like, I mean,
yeah,
heavily influenced.
Speaking of influences, what do you think about the music?
Oh yeah,
I like the music. There's that one song. What is that one song?
It's got a theme that runs throughout it.
With the voices.
Yeah,
is that I can't do it. Every time I do it, I think I end up sounding offensive to a completely different ethnicity.
Maybe we can insert music here.
I can't do it. I like the music a lot, and I don't like every time I'm like, when I think about watching this movie, I'm like, oh yeah, I get to hear that music again. And then I start it, I'm like, what is it about this music I really like? I like the voice vibrato crazy thing it does. It's very unique. But then when it's not doing the main theme, there's some cool synth music in there too. So I enjoy that.
Yeah.
At one point, there's a sequence where like 80s, 90s late night TV guitar music kind of comes in towards the end while they're doing this operations going down. Not like a surgery operation, but like, they're doing things, things in midnight op.
I've been listening to lots of ambient, maybe is what I'm thinking, stuff lately, and it feels like that to me a little bit. Some of it at least.
Well, even the scene I mentioned earlier, one of the probably big notable action scenes where chasing the guy around and fighting in the water. I like that scene because it's kind of quiet and low key when they're not firing guns and exploding armored vehicles. But there's even some score there that's cool. That's kind of a simple little kind of synth line melody there. That's pretty solid. I think that goes a long way to adding to the feel of the movie. It's kind of like, it's not downbeat, but there's kind of like a sadness to it a little bit.
Well, it's kind of a sad movie.
Yeah.
It's like you're bringing up that one time with the sequels where everything looks really clean. I like it better the way that it should be, the way that the world is, where in certain areas, yeah, it's going to be crisp and white and nice, but then down in the streets, it's going to be dirty and there's going to be trash and filth, Yeah,
that's one thing where I think, and I haven't watched all of this TV series. I watched a good chunk of at least the first standalone Complex series, and that's one area I think they really miss the mark is everything's so clean. Even when they're out in the streets, it seems clean. And part of what's cool about the Ghost in the Shell world, which is not completely unique to itself, it's kind of, I think I've seen it described as a neo cyberpunk, future Tokyo thing, but it is gritty and dirty
That was a thing that I was kind of wondering about while I was watching, was like, what differentiates genres across like cultures? Because yeah, in America we would definitely call this cyberpunk, but it's very much just typical sci-fi anime for the Japanese. So, like, is cyberpunk kind of a borrowing, or is there a difference between the two?
Is everything Tokyo just cyberpunk? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's just cyberpunk.
It's Tokyo.
They invented it. That's it. End of story.
Jesse, have you seen the trailers for the live action movie coming up?
Yeah, actually, we just watched the trailer today because it was on the front end of The Arrival.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to see that sometime.
Yeah.
You guys would love it, I think. I mean,
I'm sure we will.
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard enough good things at this point that I'm very curious to see it. I was initially
I didn't know anything about it really. I knew there was aliens. That's about it. And so when it got into what was actually going on, I was like, oh man, that just kind of blew my mind.
Mind blown. Gotta see it now.
Mind blown. Yeah. Yeah. And so like from the trailer of the new Ghost in the Shell, it looks like they're obviously, because Holly watched bits of it with me and she said, man, that's practically panel for panel. I mean, kind of thing. Even though there's not really panels in this, but it's like clearly pulled from the 95 film.
Yeah. I mean, at least over here, it's hard not to compare certain things to something like Blade Runner, where,
sure.
I mean, Blade Runner was pulling from Neo Tokyo type cyberpunk influence. Yeah, the live action, the trailer for the city shots are interesting because it's almost like overdone in a way. Because I was watching this and like looking at the city shots, and it's futuristic but still somewhat grounded. And the trailer, like they've got these, and of course, you know, it's been over 20 years since the original movie came out, so our futuristic future is going to be a little bit more futuristic than, you know. But they have like the weird holograms, like building size holograms of people and stuff. I'm assuming it's like ads and whatnot. That reminds me more of Blade Runner than Ghost in the Shell actually does, the animated movie. But I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see that translated to what a modern today interpretation of what a post cyberpunk Neo Tokyo thing would be.
How many words?
Yeah. Well.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying though. To describe one concept, having like 14 words to describe one thing.
Well, if you throw enough in there, people can't say you're wrong because they're like, well, those two words were right.
Yeah.
Neo Tokyo might be wrong, but there's cyber in there. You got to be careful of the cyber.
Well, punk though.
Right.
That's kind of
careful, kids.
You know.
Watch out for the cyber.
Yeah. Don't just willy nilly with your cybers.
It's cyberpunk though. Cyberpunk is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're a cyberpunk.
Anarchy in the UK with computers.
How do you guys feel about 1995 animation? And, you know, this is a motion picture. It's a film. So I'm assuming, you know, film like over here, feature length gets more resources, more money channeled into it than a series. But how do you feel about 1995 animation versus more modern animation?
It's crazy. Like, this is kind of the birth of what modern animation has kind of become. Because this is like looking at the special features on the disc, they were actually scanning, you know, like they were doing cell animation, traditional style, but then they were overlaying that on top of like computer rendered animation. So they were taking all these things and splicing them together in a program and then applying it back onto film.
Which is interesting because I feel it almost, because I didn't notice the CG type elements that much in this compared to some modern things. So it almost feels like, even though they're working with older technology, it feels like it's integrated better, more seamlessly.
The only bad CGI, you know, like we kind of referenced that I thought there was some bad CGI, was when they were tracking the puppet master, like in that chase scene where they're tracking him.
Oh, sure.
And they show the computer interface. And I was like, okay, well, that's the only part that doesn't feel, and I don't know how they would make it mesh better, but that was the only time where I was like, oh, okay, this looks like Reboot or something, you know, like it doesn't, quite mesh with everything else, but everything else meshed so well.
Yeah, no, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It was just like the map or whatever. That was it. That was if I have a complaint, that's it. Everything else is so ahead of its time.
Yeah, it still has that older style animation that not even just anime, but in general, you've lost that. And I guess technically modern animation is smoother. I mean, it is. It's smoother because it's computer aided, like every aspect of it is. They don't need somebody to tween every frame, but I kind of like the slight roughness to older animation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And especially certain scenes in something like this, like there's crowd scenes or something. I like to look at the other characters in the background, just the nobodies doing their business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like somebody spent a lot of time drawing that person doing that thing. And it's just some off character in the background.
There's a lot more detail, which is weird. You'd think making it easier would make them add more detail, but that's the opposite of what's happened. The computer generated stuff has a lot less detail than the older stuff. So that's one of the downsides, but
yeah, it's more slick and minimal than what we were seeing like that. Like in particular, I keep thinking of this, the chase scene where the guy is just standing there in the crowd and, like people are just walking past him. And I'm just like, oh my God, the level of detail in this shot, on all fronts, on the CGI front, on the animation front, and it just looks beautiful. And it's just a scene of a guy standing there with people walking behind him. And I found myself actually taken out of the film for a second going, that's top notch. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, we need to watch that Arabian movie.
Oh, the Aladdin that came out around the same time as Disney's Aladdin and got overshadowed.
Yes.
Even though it took like
35 years to animate. Yeah, we need to see that.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. That should be a thing we do for here or something.
Track it down, get us a copy.
Okay.
Why not? Because that's not something that's widely heard about, and somebody worked for 35 years animating this.
I know, it's got to be amazing. I've heard the detail in it is insane.
Make it so. We'll put an episode to it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so what would you guys say? What's your favorite thing about this movie?
The show? The movie?
Yeah.
Mm.
Is that a weird question to ask about a movie?
I meant basically what I just said was like those scenes where the ambience, the environment, it was just so well done. I mean, you don't feel like you're watching what Americans would derisively call a cartoon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're like, it doesn't feel like a cartoon at all. This is, I don't know. It's animated, but it's as close to live action as you're going to get, which is bizarre that we're taking it one step further and making it live action.
Well, yeah, that's true. And it feels like more mature story filmmaking than most live action movies that come out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Conceptually and, in execution and style, but also in like, it'll put out little things, little concepts or little character beats, and then not feel the need to like wrap it up in some like clumsy way.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of specifically what, but there was a couple things where they mentioned these things that could be developed into could be its own subplot or this other thing or a source of drama, but it's just there. And then they never come back to it because it's just there. There
like
to think about.
Like she lives alone and they don't feel the need to explain it.
Yeah. Oh, I did think of one other thing that I wanted to mention. I'm glad I thought of it. At one point, she's April O'Neil.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
She's wearing this like yellow outfit, and she totally looks like April O'Neil.
Like a jump. Is that what those called? Jumpsuits?
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
She just needs the right
she
hair.
does kind of have that hair almost, with the exception of the extra little bangs or whatever in the front. She would totally be April.
What do you guys not like about this movie?
Okay, I had one big question.
Okay.
So like at the very beginning, she jumps off the building and she's naked, and I can explain that away because she has that like thermal optical camouflage or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Is she?
But then
naked?
She's a robot, but like a robot naked robot jumping off the building, and then like not even 15 minutes later, the big chase scene, the guy just has a poncho that does the same thing.
Yeah, it's like it's like she has a naked suit. You know what I mean? Because she doesn't have nipples at that point. But during the whole big intro credit scene, she's made with nipples.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think
Right.
she's naked. I think that's just a suit.
It's like a naked suit that you see the very CG version of ScarJo in the trailer. She's got like
Okay.
a naked suit. I think she's rocking the naked suit.
I think so too.
Like she's naked, but there's a couple extra seam like lines and no nipples.
So it's a
Right.
suit that just matches your color, your skin color, and has no nothing.
Yeah.
But it
But
could be a poncho.
Yeah, or it could just be a poncho.
But it's quicker to run in a naked suit than a poncho.
Well, and there's a couple different versions because at one point, like oftentimes she's wearing the VR looking visor or
Yeah.
glasses that, you know, I don't know how they work. But at one point, I think there's like this clear veil thing that hangs
Yeah.
from the bottom. And when she reappears later after using it, the veil thing like opens, like that's as if that was part of it.
Uh-huh.
It's like, what's that little veil gonna do?
Cover your face.
I guess. She does have to do the weird cover her face thing
Yeah.
at the beginning too, where she like everything fades out except her face, so she uses her hand to cover her face. Like that seems weird.
Or just pull the veil over, woman,
Japanese guys like to draw some naked ladies.
with no.
Oh
naked
yeah,
bits.
for sure. like it didn't, you know, I know this about anime, but like the thing that it was like it just defied logic at all. You're like, to me, I was like, wait, he's got a poncho and it does exactly the same thing. What is he a better upgraded tech than she is? Like,
No,
what's going on there?
It's less so, but I would say, because you know what? When you're running in a big fight and somebody shoots at you, if they shoot your leg, they shot your leg. If they shoot through your pants, then you have a big hole in your translucent stuff, and they can find you.
Ah.
It's not a
All
bad
right,
point.
all right,
It's not a bad
okay,
point.
okay.
Or can get snagged on
Yeah.
something. There's a million.
Yeah. That's fair.
It's good to go with the naked suit. Naked suits are.
except like, wait, hang on, I gotta get undressed so I can jump off this building.
Yeah.
well, yeah. Sometimes if it was just socially acceptable to be your naked suit all the time, I'd probably do that.
Well, you could be invisible at that point, so it would be. You're like,
Well,
okay,
I guess so.
just hang on, I gotta put my pants on again, and then then you can see me.
So you fell asleep this time. I don't know if you remember. You probably do. But she ends up merging with this. So it was AI, right?
Yeah.
Like it was full on AI
That was
because at
my-
one point, like one of the agencies trying to tell the other agency it was this hacker guy,
He did hack into other things
but it was like
after he gained his anonymity and wanted to
became
pursue his own things that weren't what humans wanted him to pursue.
But she merges with him. The one section whatever 6 or whoever 4 shoots both her and the guy
And
the-
everything.
yeah, they shoot everything up. Her eyeball buddy takes her head and is able to put the new merged ghost into, it's basically a child doll. They even allude to cultural creepiness because the first thing she says is, you know, something about thanks for whatever, no thanks for the body or something. And he's
Yep.
like, you know, it was short notice. This is what I could find on the black market.
Mm-hmm.
So they allude to creepiness. But yeah, then she leaves at the end to go have adventures as this
Child doll.
child merged version in a child body.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose it's, you know.
That's why the sequel disappointed me, because I was like, well, what kind of crazy adventures can she get into now? And
Horrifying ones? Man, have you ever read any of the vampire books? Anne Rice?
No.
Okay, well, there's the child
Mhm.
vampire, and they make a very good point in that about
Claudia.
how she's supposed to survive, even though she's an adult, how she's supposed to survive on her own, and everybody thinks she's a kid, you know?
Mhm.
Same would apply to a child robot. So, they would be uncomfortable, horrible times, is what I would think.
The sequel, which is later, the filmmaker later said that is not really any kind of direct sequel. It's just a thing he wanted to do, I guess. I don't think has her in it at all. I don't think her character has anything to do with it.
Well, she just ran off to be a new thing. So, yeah.
Some of the imagery in the live action movie reminds me of stuff from that sequel, though. So I wonder if they lifted things from that. I would recommend this.
I would recommend it also.
Yeah, I would. Well, like, how would you recommend it to people that are like, that's an old thing?
So are you. You like it anyway. Watch it.
I got really aggressive. Yeah.
It
Get over it and go watch the thing. It's good.
It does look conceptually like the characters and the backgrounds and stuff. I don't think it looks dated because
Mm-mm.
it's got that certain neo cyberpunk look, you know.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a period piece. It's just that period is fiction. The animation does look a little dated, but I looked at a comparison of some of the 2.0, like the.
I was just gonna ask, do you think it needed a 2.0?
No. Like you know, and I get the hologram screens and the menus and stuff like that. You know, they redid all that, and that kind of makes sense because that does look dated. But some of the stuff they did, like they'll replace like helicopters and stuff. I don't think it needed it. I thought the animation on vehicles
They replaced
and stuff
it with walkie-talkies?
What's that? Oh no, they replaced all the guns with walkie-talkies.
Oh no.
No,
Pawn shop first. It was crazy.
I think some of the stuff they did to update it made it look more dated because that CG just looked painfully out of place from the few scenes I looked at on YouTube compared to the original. At least the original, for the most part, all meshes together. And I think the animation style, it looks a little dated, but I kind of prefer that to.
Sure.
It's a nice midway point between. It looks kind of like the 80s anime animation style, but it doesn't have the super big foreheads of the 80s anime movies that kind of drive me crazy.
Well, they need more space for their giant eyeballs.
I guess.
Yeah, but you can't have veins bulge on your forehead in Akira if you don't have a giant forehead.
That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Oh man, Akira. I like that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
That one's got amazing animation. That kind of rivals most other anime and animation that I've seen, anime movies.
Mm-hmm. I'm more likely to recommend this one to somebody than that one, though.
Yeah, I think the storyline of this one's much easier to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Akira doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No.
And it's kind of not supposed to. And I like that that Ghost in the Shell doesn't spell everything out for you, but it doesn't make a point of trying to confuse you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, and Akira was also like 6 volumes worth of whatever material smashed into a little 2.5 hour feature.
Yeah.
I don't know how many volumes, but I know it was more than 1 or 2.
I need to collect a bunch of manga, like a whole bunch of it, and then read it all because it's very confusing to me to switch back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
And then I start I'm like reading stuff backwards and I get all confused, and I'm like, wait, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
So I just need to get it all done in one go, you know?
So you don't have to switch your mind back and forth?
Yeah.
My mind was kind of blown when I found I was just like looking at things that were recommended to me by Amazon.com, and the box set for the Legend of Zelda anime. Like they have a box set of all the Legend of Zelda mangas, and I didn't even know they had them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they're a big deal. And I was like, oh, hey, that would be a thing. I could maybe learn how to read manga off of these because that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Apparently it's a big thing. A lot of people knew about it, but me.
I want to read some Full Metal Alchemist.
Me too. I want to get to the end of the flipping story that we never get to the end to in anything. God.
Yeah, that's a good show. Good series. Both of the series have been good.
I wish there was more of some things.
Me too.
Like Attack on Titan.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, when's that coming?
That's just them being slackers. It's not like there's no more.
Making live action movies, and cute Attack on Titan in high school movies. Although they're all like high school aged anyway. I don't get it.
I don't know. You're dumb.
So since we're on anime talk, Dragon Ball Z, what do you think?
I've never been able to get into it.
It's really hard to because they say the same thing 14 times and then the show's over.
There's like 7 episodes of powering up an attack and then an episode of attack.
And I get it because I've been there with shows that are running alongside the manga or whatever, and they can't reveal stuff until it's revealed in the comic. But then do something different. Make your own side story or something. I hate the taking forever and making them just wait around, straining. And then I hate also, which is this is the one. Let's go back and revisit the past for 14 issues or episodes or whatever. No, let's not. Let's just. Why don't you wait a month or 2 and then start over? And that'd be preferable.
Maybe they have to wait 3 years, and then you're like, "Where's the show?"
They don't have to wait 3 years.
You don't know.
They're doing that on purpose.
It does seem like it's a common thing that they'll run out of manga to adapt, and then like, crap, what do we do?
Well, that's why you wait till it's over, or wait till it's close to over.
What about you, Jesse? Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, I just wondered because it was a thing that my brother Jacob and like his buddies, they would watch it. We all lived in the same house in college, and they were really into that when we were all there. And I was like, I don't know. Like I always thought I was into anime, but then Dragon Ball Z became a phenomenon, and I was like, I don't get it, and I can't get into it, and I feel like a whole episode would be one fight scene. And then I would come back and it was like, you guys are still fighting the same guy? Really? Yeah. I mean, like, I thought he just like smashed him into the earth and punched his face a bunch. Isn't this done yet?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's why I couldn't really get into that ever either. Some parts of it looked fun, but
right.
And it would just take forever to get through anything. And
then the downtime stuff would be way too downtime. Like, is anything going to happen? Or are you guys just like hanging out in a parking lot? Because that's what it felt like.
Yeah, but that's probably the worst example of all. I watch well, I haven't in a long time because my Crunchyroll is a piece of crap. But and work and stuff got me off of it. But Naruto, it sucks a little bit too. But it's not even close to as bad as Dragon Ball Z was. But they do the thing where we're almost up to the end of this big conflict, but they're not caught up with us, or they're not we have to wait for new issues, so we're gonna go back 12 years and like let's see what would have happened if instead of doing this they did this for a month, and then we'll go back and conclude.
Imagine if that's what they did with Game of Thrones. Can you imagine?
For the last, we're out of books, so what if?
It kind of reminds me of
it devolves into fanfic.
Yeah. What was that?
Like, all right, it's the college years of Tyrion.
It makes me
I drink and I know things, baby.
Yeah, I would watch that though. But it makes me think of that one show, that Gladiator show, and then the main character got sick. So for the second season, they're like, let's just go back to before these people were dead.
Hercules?
Yeah.
Was it Hercules?
Well, no, it wasn't Hercules.
No,
was it?
what's it? No. Wait.
I thought it was Gladiator. It's the guy from Gladiator.
It's Sparta or
Spartacus.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the lead actor got cancer.
Uh-huh.
So while waiting for his treatments, which didn't pan out well.
Yeah.
They went back and did like a prequel season with characters that were dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, it's interesting, but I already know all these people are dead.
Yeah, that did kind of kill it because I fell off of that season. We fell off that season, I think.
Mm-hmm. None of their plans will come to fruition. We know this.
But something like Dragon Ball or something like that, where it seems like it's perpetually in the middle of stalling or something, it's impenetrable, if I said that right, for a new viewer, unless you come in at the right time.
Yeah.
It's like coming into a very complex comic book series at any point other than a designated jump on point. You don't know what's going on.
Right.
And you're just like, these characters look weird. There's nothing happening. I don't understand these guys. I'm out. Yeah. And that's been my whole experience with stuff like Dragon Ball Z.
It's like if we ever have to do Marvel Civil War, like, who's that guy? No, who's that guy? What's going on here?
Yeah, they need like a Cliff's Notes.
They said it wouldn't even be a Cliff's Notes to be like, this is the encyclopedia of characters that you need to read before you can read any of the shows.
I mean, I guess at this point that'd just be Wikipedia. You just Wikipedia and read through all of it, but
yeah, I think we do have an encyclopedia of Marvel characters though. Somewhere.
You might be right. I know we have. Yeah, no, you're right. It is Marvel. Yeah, it is a Marvel encyclopedia of characters.
Because it's necessary.
We've never busted it out while reading a Marvel book, though.
I know, but we could.
You're right. Well, we should wrap up before too long. I did want to mention. Okay, so Jesse, you mentioned Arrival. Awesome. Mind-blowing. You recommend it?
I would recommend Arrival. Yeah, especially knowing you guys's like viewing habits, like what you guys dig. I think you'd probably enjoy it. It starts out as this kind of straightforward alien invasion kind of story, but it takes some interesting twists. And my initial thought, like I really didn't know if I had any interest in the movie at all because it's Amy Adams and all I can see her as is like kind of mopey Lois Lane now.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh boy, I don't know if I can watch a whole movie of just her being mopey. And after I got over that fact, like the movie starts to unfold, and I really, really like where it went. I get it. I get why it's so hailed.
I like the plot twist. I like them all.
Yeah.
It's always good to twist.
Wait, you like plot twists in general, or do you
Yes.
like its plot twist?
No, all plot twists. All of them. They're all good things.
What a twist.
Yeah.
Even every M. Night Shyamalan?
Those aren't movies. Those are crap
Those
that
aren't
was thrown
even
at a screen,
movies.
okay?
I liked Unbreakable.
Unbreakable was good. I liked Unbreakable. Okay.
Apparently,
Lady in
they
the Water.
like nod back to that.
What's that?
Apparently, they nod back to that in the most recent
Split?
Unbreakable movie, or not Unbreakable, but yeah, whatever the new one is. They basically say that these movies kind of inhabit the same universe, and I don't know. It's like either I like that or I don't. I don't know.
Nobody wants an M. Night Shyamalan cinematic universe.
No, we don't.
Just because they
Probably
don't
not.
want the good ones chained to the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
He's invulnerable. Is he invulnerable to suicide grass? Or, what else is there?
Suicide Grass, yeah. Oh, man.
Whatever crap, The Lady in the Water. That was such a piece of crap. That's the one of those movies where I want that time in my life back. It was that horrible.
Lady in the Water, yeah.
Wasted my life.
Why can't he? Like if he's so unbreakable, why can't he save people in secret villages?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one wasn't that bad. I mean, it was bad because it was marketed wrong, but as a movie overall, I didn't think it was that horrible.
No,
It was
alright.
marketed very wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, I'm not completely evil about the guy, but there's just certain things that, yeah, they're crap.
Well, I think I wasn't wild about Signs. I don't think it's a great movie at all. It did well.
I liked part of
Mhm.
it, and then the other part I didn't so much.
The Village was marketed wrong.
Mhm.
There's some great cinematography in that movie,
Oh yeah,
though.
there is.
That's one thing, like, with a few exceptions. He's, like, his movies look great. They're put together well. Like, he could be a great director if he'd stop writing them.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to stop writing them. He needs a writer,
Yeah.
somebody else, to feed him good ideas. And he,
Editor.
like, yeah.
Kind of like George Lucas. Like he was better off when he wasn't in control of the whole thing.
Yeah, some people shouldn't have complete control.
Mhm.
Like, they need a hand to nudge them a certain way. Moffat.
Yep.
Like, Moffat's Doctor Who stories that he wrote were pretty good when he wasn't showrunner. But
Yeah.
when he's
'Cause
showrunner,
he had time to focus on just that.
yeah,
Same thing with like his finale for Sherlock. It was like, what? Like, that's how you're gonna kind of wrap this up. Is that?
we're so behind on Sherlock.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know it was out.
I think it's been like 2 years since we watched any Sherlock.
Well,
I
whose
think
fault is
I
that?
think it was off for 2 years. I think it was off for 2 years.
Yeah.
It was only
It's there.
was it season 3 or 4? I think 4 is the last season.
Yeah, I think it's just one season we're behind, but
Really? I don't
They
remember
took a
watching
long-
season 3. I think we only saw 2.
I think we watched season 3. I think we
We'll have
did.
to find it out later.
But I mean, at this point, season 1 was like, what, 6 years ago or something?
Oh yeah.
Is
I
it?
mean, like, how long has this been on?
I'm not a good guesser
Time.
of time or length or distance, any of that. None of
Space.
it. Space and time. None of
Space
it.
and time and dimension.
That's not the world I live in.
So I've been watching a bunch of House of Cards. I've been binging that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't have too much to say because I don't want to spoil things because there's definitely big things that happen. But it's something that I didn't think Mel was interested in, so I could
you're right.
actually. But I think if you get into it, it's a good show. Maybe I don't know.
The stuff I've seen, it's very compelling, and the acting is great in it.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I've actually been able to binge it, so I've flown through.
But it's like corporate political world. That's so not me.
It's
That would be the only problem I have with it, is it's not really escapism. It's like, oh, I get to see my problems through a different lens.
It's kind of true. Okay, so when I first started the series, like 1, 2, 3 episodes in, I was like, this isn't believable because I doesn't feel like anybody in Washington is this competent.
Yeah.
Like,
That I
reality seems so far out of whack of what you would assume it would be. Like, if it were before this year, like, I think it'd be a good show because it's still a good show, but I think it would probably play a little better at first because you're like, oh, this is probably what it's like.
Intrigue.
Yeah, but now it's like, this is probably not even holding a candle to the insanity that's going on. Like, this seems too, how did you put it when I was trying to, too high level?
Yeah. Too highbrow.
Yeah.
They're not, they couldn't follow this. politicians that we have right now. So
Yeah, that is a little bit how it seems. But no, getting into it though, like you get into the show, it's good. But like it's like when I got into Thick of It, except this has a very different tone. But turns out I kind of like a drama set in like a political workings.
I know
Like,
you do.
It kind of fascinates
That's
me.
why I wasn't surprised when you said you wanted to watch it and that you didn't want me, that you thought it was something you could watch without me, because it's true, because I didn't care for the Thick of It.
It sounds so boring though. Both of those shows, but man, they're good.
Well, for you,
It's
and
kind
I'm
of
glad.
fascinating.
I'm glad you found something you enjoy, baby.
But anyway, it's good, and it does get kind of extreme, and characters die, and I was a little surprised when that happened. So I didn't know how seedy like the story was gonna go.
CD?
Seedy, well, maybe not seedy. Murder's not seedy. Murder's something else entirely.
Ballsy.
Yeah, I guess so. But there is murder and intrigue, and yeah, good character moments. It's just well put together.
For our largely comic book reader audience, like, is there a comic kind of, I don't know, equivalent? Like, if you like Garth Ennis, you will like House of Cards. I don't know.
I would say maybe something like
Ed Brubaker.
Boom. You got it. I was going to say something like Ed Brubaker and some of the like noir type stuff
Yeah.
he writes. If you're into that kind of stuff, yeah, I bet it would fall into there. Actually, now that you mention it, the music, I like the score quite a bit. It feels a little noirish. There's like some
Kevin
horns and
Spacey is noirish
yeah.
Yeah.
in like almost everything.
And it's Kevin Spacey playing like playing a southerner. You know, he's got kind of an accent, but he's also being evil Kevin Spacey. You know, he's underhanded and dirty.
I like evil
good.
Kevin Spacey. He's good at doing evil.
Uh-huh. For a while, he was kind of typecast as being evil.
And he looks at the camera a lot and does like a fourth wall break, and that's like creepy.
Yeah, he does. Like at first you're like, you know, I was unsure about it, but you kind of dig it. And then there's certain scenes where you're like, why did he do that just now? I'm ready for a fourth wall break. And sometimes he'll give it to you, sometimes he won't. You're just like, tell me what you're doing, you know, because that's kind of how it works. The second season, I just started, I'm at the very beginning of the second season, like maybe 2 episodes in, or 3 or 4, I don't know. But the first episode of the second season, it goes the whole episode without the fourth wall break. And then at the end, he looks and he's like, I bet you thought I forgot about you, and something like that. And it's just like, oh, it's so self-aware. Also, the first season ends on a pair of cuff. His name is Frank Underwood, but I was amused that the last shot of the first season is a pair of cufflinks that say "F-U." It's like, that's a message to the viewer, isn't it? All right, that's it. That's all my everythings. That's all I got. Guess what?
What?
Do you think we have some letters to read?
Done. I'm thinking probably not.
No, we don't.
Oh.
Listen,
Ah.
if you want to chime in on something we talked about, something we're going to talk about, or you just want to say, hi, you guys are great. Probably
great.
you should do that. Send an email to letters at grawlixpodcast.com. It's LETTERS. Letters at grawlixpodcast.com. Or you could record a voice, put it in an MP3 file format.
Not your voice, but a voice.
A voice.
Like the ghost voice
Send
that
us
you're
an
hearing
EVP.
in your shell. You could record that voice for us.
Send your Neo Tokyo Cyberpunk EVPs to letters at grawlixpodcast.com. Or you get them on the phone and have them leave a message at 559-426-6427. That's 559-426-6427 or 559-4 comics.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I've never set you up for that before. I just figured I'd stare at you.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, send us some. We'll play it on the show. We'll address your concerns.
Yeah, we will.
All right, so what are we talking about next episode, which will be up April 3rd?
Bone.
Bone Thugs and Harmony. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, that'd be an interesting follow up.
I used to love Bone Thugs up until The Art of War. After that, they kind of lost me.
Yeah, I was sorry to get your hopes up. No, it's just gonna be the comic.
We're not going to discuss Bone Thugs.
Well, maybe we can do that as a secondary.
Are we going like creeping on the come up, or are we going to do East 1999 Eternal?
Well, there might be some thugs in Bone, and then we'll definitely discuss those Bone Thugs.
Yeah. But we might probably don't have harmony. So.
Don't give props to the devil.
Okay.
That was a message on the inside of the case. It was like a hidden message in the jewel case, cover of the jewel case itself for East 1999 Eternal. That's an inside joke that
Deep cuts.
very few people probably got.
Only the people that had that album.
It was a good album. I liked the original cut of the Crossroads better than that radio popped up cut.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready? I'm going to keep... Okay, no, we're going to talk about Bone Volume 1. I'm assuming Volume 1 seems like the place to start. And
I think that's actually what's on it. I think it was a very specific, oddly specific pull list pick.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a very like serialized story, so that struck me as something we should start at the beginning for anyway.
Yeah, we'd be lost. Yeah.
Heard good things about it.
This is Jesse. You take all your emotions, all your anger, all your love, all your hate, and you push it way down here into the pit of your stomach, and then you let it explode like a Grawlix. Pow!
This is Randy. And where does the newborn go from here? The Grawlix is vast and infinite.
This is Melanie. What I like my music to do is awaken the ghosts inside me. Not the Grawlix, you understand, but the ghosts.
Thank you for listening to the Grawlix Podcast. The Grawlix Podcast is a production of the Electronic Media Collective and Vorpal Arrow Studios. For more Grawlix podcasts, check out grawlixpodcast.com. Also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube, electronicmediacollective.com, facebook.com/Grawlix Podcast, twitter.com/Grawlix Podcast, all the .com/all the Grawlix Podcasts. What's that?
It's by David Bowie. It's a David Bowie quote.
Oh. And
he could be a clone. He could be a clone. You could have Bruce Lee and David Bowie.
Yep.
I don't know what they do together, but it'd be brilliant.
The most kick-ass band in the world.
It would be incredible.
It'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, it would.
Everybody'd be kung fu fighting. They should cover that.
Ooh.
Wu-Tang. We could have ODB.
Dang.
We could have ODB back. Man, Attack of the Killer Bees 2. I'm so mad that this clone thing is not working out.
We could clone bees and then, like,
that would be good too. Because, like, if we don't have bees, we're going to die anyways.
Yeah.
So there you go. We won't have food. That'll be a problem. Get on cloning bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be smart. They have made some little, like, micro robots that are bees that just go from flower to flower. Try and make up for it, but I don't know that really is the same.
That sounds like a disaster waiting.
Yeah, they're going to cross-pollinate some bad things, and then we're going to have, the plant from Little Shop on Horrors in our backyard.
Well, I was just thinking...
was that Audrey too?
Yep.
Swarms of robot bees sounds horrifying.
A little bit. Swarms of any kind of bee sounds a little horrifying.
People are going to hack them and put their ghosts in there.
Ghost bees.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Robot ghost bees.